everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Alicia. I post new videos every Thursday, primarily on tumbler tutorials, but I do a lot of other things. So to my normal followers, if you remember a while back, I went to Michael's arts and crafts store and picked up this scrapbook packet for like $5. And I absolutely love the stuff inside here, and I've been meaning to get around to doing this, and I haven't. So I finally decided I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna show you that you can wrap scrapbook paper around a cup and make it look absolutely gorgeous. So if you're interested to see what I came up with and how I did this, stick around and I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Alrighty, so I am using a 20-ounce skinny straight that I screwed up again from, this one's from Stainless Steel Depot. I do have a link for Maker Flow if you prefer Maker Flow, but this one's from Stainless Steel Depot. I like to order from them because they are local to me. They are New Jersey, so it's kind of like, I don't know, supporting a small business. I don't know. Anyway, so I cut my scrapbook paper to size, so you have to measure your cup. So I can't tell you exactly, but mine was like 9.4 by like 8 inches, but you have to measure. So I cut the paper to size, and as you saw, I just applied Mod Podge to the back of it. And make sure you put a liberal amount on there so you kind of give yourself a little play to slide it around. I actually didn't put enough, and so when I was pulling back on the paper, it was already starting to like really stick to the cup. So make sure you put a liberal amount on because the Mod Podge does dry pretty quick. Press it down. Make sure that you've got your top seams pressed down really well. And then your middle, like your seam, like where I'm at with the brush, get in there and put some on top and then like smooth it over with your finger and push it in. You want to get that seam nice and sealed. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this cup dry for about a half an hour. And then I'm going to come in and I'm going to put 2 coats of Mod Podge over top of this. So kind of like when you do a fabric wrap, if you've ever done a fabric wrap. And if you've not, I have done one. And you can jump back on my channel and check that out. So here's my first coat of Mod Podge. I'm just going to go all the way around, making sure I get up at that top seam. If you can see, like I'm going the opposite direction. It's kind of like filling in the gap. So if there's any tiny gap, like if you messed up just a hair and there's a little, it's going to fill that gap. You want to do that so it's nice and smooth when you go to put your epoxy on. But I love this Mod Podge in that it's the gloss one, and so it goes on white, and then when it dries, it's clear and it's glossy. And, you know, in retrospect, you could really just put a couple of coats of this Mod Podge on, and this cup is completely usable. You don't have to put epoxy on it. You can use Mod Podge as a final coat, and the colors are still vibrant underneath, and it looks absolutely gorgeous. So while that is drying, I'm going to work on cup number 2. So I already covered the cup with the paper, and I don't need to show you because I just showed you that. And I cut out a 2.5 inch just hunter green strip that came out of the same pack, and so the colors match up really nicely. So I'm flipping it backwards. I'm measuring it so that I can cut it to size. Now, I overlap my seams just a hair. I don't know the measurement, but just enough. Some people do it like flush. I've never been really successful at doing it flush, so if you are great at getting your cuts flush, by all means do it. I overlap a little bit. I don't think it makes a big deal, but again, this is completely up to you and how you want to do it. So again, I'm going to apply the Mod Podge to the back of this strip and then apply it to the cup, which this has 1 coat of Mod Podge on it. I did not do 2 total coats on this. I did 1. And then this way, like I could maneuver the paper around a little bit if I couldn't get it lined up. And I measure top and bottom to see if I want it like pretty much in the middle. And so now I'm just layering. I'm layering this scrapbook paper, which it's so easy. Like this is like, I was like loving this as I was doing the process. Like I had a hard time picking out which ones I wanted to use. And then once, you know, I put this together, I'm like, all right, let me use this color, you know, let me use this white with these like florals or whatever you want to call it. And then this whole sheet right here have all these other different designs, which I thought would look really good in the center. And this one has like a gold on the top and gold on the bottom that I'm cutting out. So I use a very sharp craft knife and this metal ruler to basically slice out, because I don't have a paper cutter big enough for that. So that's an easier way to do it. So I cut that out to size. Again, I'm going to flip it around and I'm going to cut it to just overlap the seam, and I'm going to off it from the other seam. Like, so I'm not going to pile it on top. I'm just going to put it off, because you don't want too big of a bump, because then you're going to require more layers of epoxy to cover that if you make it too big of a bump, if that makes any sense. So I don't put it exactly on the last seam, and I didn't do it with that seam either. So like the seam for the wrap is in one spot, and then the green is off slightly to one side, and then this one is going to be slightly off to the side as well. I hope you guys understand that. If you don't, please let me know, and I will try to point that out, because I didn't think about that now until I'm doing the video to try to point, like, to show you. So I didn't show you, so I apologize. All right, so now that I got this on, I am loving, loving, loving this. And I am going to, I think the next step, I think I'm going to do the bottom next. I forgot. Yes, I'm going to do the bottom. So this is another mess up cup. So like I cover all my mess up cups. Like I can't be bothered with stripping some of these things, so I just cover them up. All right, so I am going to take Aleene's Tack It Over and Over. If you're not familiar with Aleene's Tack It Over and Over, it is a white glue that dries clear and tacky. And that's what you want when you want to apply something. Like I decided to go with gold foil on the bottom of this. And I was going to just coat the bottom and then come up the side slightly to the paper wrap, right? So that's how I'm doing this. And I couldn't find my gold flakes by Glitter Makes It, and I have gold sheets. So I wound up using the gold sheet. Otherwise, I would have used the flakes from Glitter Makes It, because I wanted kind of a texture look. But at the end of the day, I was actually really happy that I used the sheet. So check this out. So I put this on and I just lay it like nice and flat, and I'm not really getting the texture that I wanted, but I like kind of just pulled downwards, and then I'm getting off the big hunks, and then I'm flattening it out, and it just kind of did this nice, like uneven, interesting thing down at the bottom. It like stuck to the the dried Mod Podge. And I was like, oh, I really like this. Like, super happy mistake. So, you know what? I'm leaving it. I'm not messing with it. All right. So, now everything is getting 2 coats of Mod Podge before I put it on to the turner for its coat of epoxy, final coats of epoxy. And so, I let them dry overnight. Each cup has 2 coats of Mod Podge, nice and dried overnight. I am using a additive called Ultra Fine Shimmer, yes, and just a little tiny bit, because I just want to give these a shimmer. So I mixed up 30 mLs of epoxy, so I'm using 15 mLs on each, and then once this cures, I'm going to go ahead and give it a sand. I'm going to sand the top rims to make sure that it stainless steel is exposed at the top. My gosh, I am like so tongue-tied. And then I'm going to put my final coat of epoxy on. So I'm not going to show you that. I'm just going to, because you've seen me do it before, and if you haven't, you can jump back on my channel and see, how I sand a cup or sand in between coats of epoxy. But to make this so that it's not super long, I'm going to just finish this out with showing you that I'm putting on the epoxy, and then I will torch with a kitchen torch for bubbles. I use a kitchen torch over a heat gun. Heat gun's more for heating up epoxy and moving it. The torch, I find, pops bubbles better. You're always going to get bubbles when you're applying epoxy, because you're moving it around, and moving it around makes bubbles. All right, so that is pretty much it. When these are cured, I will be back with my final remarks. All right, guys, these are done. So, you know, at the end of my videos, most of the time I'm like, I really love this tumbler. But there's like a love and then there's like a love. And I am so in love with these. I think I need to keep one or both or make more. Thankfully, this pack comes with multiple pages of the same thing. So I can definitely make more. Look. Ah, another one, yay. All right, guys, so check it out up close. Look at the sparkle in there. That shimmer, so pretty without overdoing it. All right, guys, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe, share, comment. I love to hear your feedback. All those things help my channel to grow. Make sure you check out my Facebook group, It's a Crafting, for things that I do that I don't post tutorials on, as well as my Instagram. And don't forget, Glitter Makes It Superstars page, where they have fun giveaways every Sunday. And I will see you all next time. Bye.